When a patient presents at your facility, standard eligibility vendors can find insurance coverage 92% of the time. What about that remaining 8%? That remaining 8%, where the patient is not insured or insurance could not be confirmed, most health systems will do one, if not all, of the following. Staff makes multiple phone calls. They will search payer websites. They will send letters. And finally, they will utilize third-party vendors to search for additional coverage. After all of these efforts, if coverage still cannot be confirmed, is there any way these patients could still have coverage that has not been found by your current processes or vendors? Or are they truly self-pay? And you might say, well, hold on a minute. Every health system we initially engaged told us they already had vendors and processes in place to find every bit of available coverage. However, when they participated in our no-risk self-pay audit, the results surprised them. FrontRunner has developed a patient demographic cloud, which is a proprietary database of patient insurance coverage. It delivers coverage not found by your existing processes, provides demographic error correction information, helps resolve coordination of benefit issues, and identifies patients with coverage that has been retroactively approved. For the audit, groups typically provide a pre-collection self-pay file after all of their third-party vendors and manual processes. On average, our proprietary database of national insurance coverage finds 28% of the self-pay patients actually have verifiable insurance coverage. When groups have moved this to the front of their revenue cycle, that number skyrockets to 52%. And all of this is based on a model that requires no change in your current processes, 100% contingency based, so our financial incentives are aligned, and backed by a no-risk agreement. Let's look at a case study for one of the largest health systems in the Southeast, with 6 hospitals and over 1,800 physicians. The health system provided FrontRunner with a self-pay patient test file on a Friday that was going to be sent to collections on Monday, so we had the weekend to see if we could find any additional coverage. That file contained 8,251 self-pay patients with no insurance, again pre-collections. All accounts had been checked multiple times by Experian Passport and MDON. All accounts had also received 3 statements and at least 1 phone call. When we delivered back the test results, they were simply amazed at what we were able to find. We provide the self-pay file specifications that allows your IT team to create a report that provides the necessary data to run the test and to operate the service in the future. No further work will need to be done. We can often utilize existing reports that you're currently generating for other vendors. First, we found 6,488 patients that were true self-pay patients, which, in the future, could be checked at registration and then segmented based on your organization's policies and desired treatment of these patient accounts. Next, we found 2,801 patients where the coverage was terminated within the last 90 days. This may be a possible opportunity to pay the selected premiums for those higher dollar services in order to receive reimbursement. FrontRunner found active billable coverage for 1,763 patients with $2.77 million in billable charges that would have been lost. We found 1,412 patients with active government coverage on their account that also had another payer who was the primary responsible party, which means that $4.9 million in claims would have been recouped by the payer. And finally, we found 3,589 patients with demographic errors which could lead to statements not being delivered due to having the patient's previous address. That amounted to $17.3 million in patient statement savings. So what if these results might be possible in your organization? Well, there are 3 easy steps to find out. We are happy to provide a no-risk, self-pay audit for your organization. The process is very straightforward. You and FrontRunner sign a right-to-use agreement and a mutual business associate agreement. You provide us a self-pay, no-insurance test file that can be generated daily. And once we process that file, you will be given access to our portal to review the results, add coverage to the patients, then bill out those claims. And once you have been reimbursed by the payer, only then will you compensate us for those claims where we found coverage. So really, what do you have to lose? Since there is no risk for this self-pay audit, and our pricing model is 100% contingency based, where you only pay us for those claims that we found and you were reimbursed, you stand to gain a lot.